Olivia runs and says, "Grandma, look there." Ethan says, "She is a completely younger lady. Why might she marry me?" Ethan tries to depart. However, Olivia stops him and says, "Now, would you have come? At the least take a seat with her for 2 minutes anyway. She is not as young as you're saying." Ethan says, "Fine. If each of you are pronouncing it, then I will cross-meet her." Ethan attempts to go away, but his mother stops him after a while. His mother brings delivery boy garments and says, "Wear these and go." Olivia says, if her father is going like this, she will no longer like him, so let him live as he is. Olivia's grandmother says, "You will no longer recognize these things. Maintain quiet." And she or he says to Ethan, "Go put on these and are available." Ethan takes the garments from her and leaves. After some time, he involves Maria and says, "Are you my daughter's class trainer?" Maria fortunately says, "I did now not know you're the only." Ethan fortunately says, "Yes, I recall." Maria smiles and says, "What a twist of fate." Ethan, smiling, says, "Sure." Maria says, "Your daughter stated you're a massive businessman." Ethan says, "I had a big loss in business in the beyond few days, because of which all my organizations sank." Maria appears at Ethan with wonder. Ethan receives burdened and says, "I get past you." Maria says, "We are formative years, pals." Ethan smiles and says, "Are you geared up to marry me?" Ethan says, "Let me introduce myself." Ethan gets careworn and says, "I think I have to move. You probably did no longer recognize me." Ethan alternatives up his things and tries to depart. However, Maria stops him and says, "I did no longer say I do not want to marry you." Ethan says, "Is that so?" Maria says, "Yes, sure. I do no longer care approximately your money." Ethan says, "If that is so, then I'm able to take great care of you." Maria says, "You simply have to agree on one component." Ethan quick says, "I do now not care." Maria says, "Oh, so you have been checking out what sort of lady I'm?" Ethan says, "I discovered you superb." Maria smiles and says, "So now, will you no longer marry me?" Ethan fast says, No, now we can clearly get married." Maria says, "I also appreciated you very plenty, and that I agree to marry you." Ethan extends his hand and says, "Then allow us to pass." They each preserve each difference hand and leave from their query. To your opinion, how it became the pair of Ethan and Maria?